goodness, these tomatoes are struggling, you guys. I am going to have to replace them because I think that the aphids just did so much damage to the plant that I don't see them trying to get out of this, or having good success with tomatoes this year if I leave these plants like this. So I am going to show you the new plants that I got. I am going to show you how I knew that these guys were being devastated by aphids. But before that, I need to harvest some cabbage. These guys are ready. I have that netting that I have been using to protect them, and I think that's something, I don't know, maybe a cat or a squirrel maybe try to climb it and it made a huge hole. I don't see any damage from the outside, but I have quite a few. I think I have about 15 cabbages here that definitely need some weeding, and I think that I have a couple there that are probably ready for me to harvest. And look at all of that asparagus. This is my asparagus bed. It needs some TLC as well. Look at that. Look at all that fern texture. And I'm only using bricks to hold the netting down. I do have some irrigation on this little section of the bed. But when I need to water it, the fabric, this bug fabric, you can really water through it. I'm a little cautious because I saw a snake here the other day. So I know probably there is one hanging out around here. I don't do well with snakes. This is beautiful, beautiful. Okay. Oh my gosh. Wow. I just pop it. No, I can't just pop it. Wow, look at that. I don't know if I need to wait until this head is a little bit bigger, but my goodness. This is beautiful. This is beautiful. I have plans to cook with it, but I think, oh my goodness, I think this is quite a lot. So I'm actually make some curtido. I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to harvest one more. All right, I'm gonna do this guy right here. Okay, this guy's smaller, but look at that, it's still beautiful. Oh my gosh, these are so beautiful. Isn't this beautiful? Oh, this is really not the right lighting. Isn't that so beautiful? Normally I don't have great luck with cabbage, and by that I mean that the pests, something the bugs start to eat them before they even reach something this big. But this year I really put attention to it. I took them really early. I think that I took them out in February under a frost blanket. It was definitely something way stronger for the environment outside. And after that, when it started getting a little bit warmer, like towards the end of March, I switched to a bug fabric. So it lets the air better and it's not as hot as a frost blanket. And my gosh, look at that. This was actually my husband's request. I did not have plans to start any brassicas, but he asked me to start cabbage. It was the only request that he had. I mean, come on. So I have 15 cabbages back there, and this is a lot. This is a lot. So while I have this open, I might just try to remove some of the weeds that are that are growing around. The cabbages are kind of huge, so I don't really have a lot of weeds in this area. Those chives, they came back, they overwintered here with that oregano right there. So I am not mad about it, not mad at all. I also have some beets growing along the side of this bed. That reminds me I have to plant more beets somewhere else, just so that I have beets for a good long time. I do have a lot of celosia here. I might just leave these guys here, the celosia that is. That's it for this bed. So now let's look at the tomatoes. A few weeks ago, at the beginning of May, it was the time when I planted these tomatoes. I had a total of 12 tomatoes, if I remember correctly here. They were going 6 and 6 along each of these cattle panels. I show you how I installed those. I'm going to put that video, the link below. So if you want to watch how I did that, if you're wondering about how, this cattle panel helps me with growing the tomatoes or supporting the tomatoes, I'm going to link that below. To be honest, I did not even think about these tomatoes getting sick with something. I knew that there was a possibility that my neighbor was going to spray the grass again, and that I was going to have something like I did last year. Last year, the raised bed where I was growing my tomatoes next to the neighbor's side of the backyard died because the spray, and it was kind of like an overnight thing. I mean, it was so quickly. So this year, these guys are a little bit far from the neighbors, even though they're not far enough for them not to be protected against that. And I really wasn't worried, and because of that, I really didn't check on them as I should have. And by the time that I actually realized that the tomatoes were getting, they were getting devastated with something, it was too late. My first thought when I saw these tomatoes and the way that the leaves were curling and the way that they were just growing so gnarly, I thought for sure it was something that somebody sprayed nearby and the tomatoes were the ones affected. I have tomatoes growing about 5 feet back there on the other raised bed. Those are my lovely sun sugar tomatoes. Those guys were not touched. I also have some growing in front of the garage. Those guys are doing well, I think. So it was just these guys. And while I was checking the plants, I was checking for maybe there was something underneath the leaves, I realized that the thing that was really eating these tomatoes were aphids. And I don't know that I had any problems with aphids on my tomatoes before. I have them on my roses, but they're not really a big deal. They don't really affect the roses. A little bit of a spray here and there with my hose takes care of the problem. I did have a problem with honeysuckle though, and that's why I removed it from that trellis in front of the garage. But tomatoes, never, until this year. So when I realized that I had that problem, I removed all of the 6 tomatoes that were on the left side of this screen, and I replanted 4 more tomatoes. Those are the tiny itty bitty ones that you see over there on the other side. And I also added some cucumbers and a melon that another gardener brought me during the seedling sale. And I thought, okay, for sure, I am going to lose all of these tomatoes. And because I didn't want to have another year with a very poor tomato production, I went to a seedling sale that another person had at the time, and I purchased a bunch of tomatoes, and they're currently growing at the community garden. I have extra space over there, and I have a huge area with a lot of tomatoes. And to be honest, I really wanted to give these guys a chance. I had this whole area over here on the front with tomatoes, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to give them a chance. I'm going to see if I can maybe get them back to life. But they are not looking like they're doing better. I have been here spraying just with water, trying to get all of the aphids that I see here and there. I try to kill them. So It's not looking good. So what I decided to do a couple of days ago was go to my local Lowe's and get tomatoes, whatever tomatoes I could find that were looking good. This is so hilarious to me. I had a bunch of tomatoes left from my seedling sale that I could have saved, but I didn't know. I gave those away. So today I'm just going to take all of these guys out. It's only the beginning of June. Here in central Indiana, it has been my personal experience that I can plant tomato plants at the middle of July and still get a good harvest. So I am very hopeful that these next tomatoes that I am going to plant here are going to do well. And they're basically going to be in the same spot. I am going to dig these guys out and I am going to just trash them because I really do not want them hanging anywhere in my garden. And I am going to be here every day, just spraying the leaves, making sure that I don't see any aphids. I really do not want to go and use something like some sort of organic spray to take care of the aphids. Hopefully, if I keep an eye on them daily and if I see anything happening there as far as the aphids getting out of control again, they might have to do something different, but it just happens. Let me show you some of the beautiful, beautiful tomato plants that I could find. I think next year, after I plant my tomatoes, the ones that I grow from seed myself, I'm just going to save some extra plants until like July, just to make sure that, you know, I have a backup just in case. This is so sad, so sad. Look at this. This is beautiful. So I'm only getting 5 tomato plants here because, like I said, I already have a bunch of tomatoes growing at the community garden. Those are doing amazing. I have been spraying those as well, just in case. I also got some basil. And yeah, I'm just going to plant these guys over here. I'm just going to add some fertilizer, some vegetable fertilizer. Hopefully, fingers crossed, they will do better this time around. The one thing that I don't know is if once the tomato plant gets infested with aphids, is if they go all the way to the roots, like all the way to the bottom. But I'm not going to risk it. I thought about just cutting these plants at ground level, but I'm just going to dig the entire plant just in case. Gosh, for being here for only a month, the root system is insane on these plants. So I am going to go and start working on that cabbage and making something with it. And yeah, just wanted to share with you this experience with aphids on my tomatoes. Up until this year, I honestly didn't know that aphids could harm tomatoes that way. If you have problems with aphids on your tomatoes year after year, let me know how you try to prevent that. This is new soil in this raised bed, so I know that, you know, the worms, the life there is not quite there yet. So I'm going to be adding a bunch of worm casting in a form of powder and also tea. Hopefully that helps with the problem. Thank you for being here, you guys, and I will see you in the next time.